everyone, this is me again, Teacher Will, and welcome back to our statistics and probability subject. This is the first part review of our lesson, confidence interval. Let's start. As you may know, since population is usually large, describing it or determining its parameter is very difficult or sometimes impossible. This is one of the reasons why there is statistics. Just for example, in a human body, we don't need to examine the whole to determine its DNA. Just a tiny portion of it is sufficient. So in the statistics, this idea is called the statistical inference. Statistical inference is making conclusion or generalization about the population based on the study of the samples. So it is composed of estimating the population parameter and hypothesis testing. But in this lesson, we will focus on estimating the population parameter. Estimating the population parameter can be either a point estimation or the confidence or the interval estimations. And so let's see how do we estimate population parameter using a point estimation. Recalling some examples of population parameter, we have the population mean, the population standard deviation, as well as the population variance, and the population proportion. So for any particular random sample, we can always compute for its sample statistics. And that sample statistic is our point estimate. Point estimate is a single value that estimates the population parameter. So the point estimate of the population mean is, of course, the sample mean. Point estimate of a population standard deviation is the sample standard deviation, and the point estimate of population proportion is the sample proportion. Although most often it is not the actual population parameter, it does serve as a good point estimate. For any random sample, we all know that sample statistics varies or fluctuate or differ from sample to sample. That's why it is better to use interval estimation in estimating your population parameter. Let's understand what an interval estimation is. Interval estimate, sometimes called confidence interval, is a range of values that is used to estimate a parameter. Unlike kanina, single value lang yung point estimation natin. Dito naman, range of values po siya. Halimbawa, ini-estimate natin na yung age ng mga grade 11 students is any value between 14 years old to 17 years old. So, meron tayong range of value. And this estimate still may or may not contain our true parameter value. So, possible pa rin na hindi niya wala dun sa range of values. Pero napakabihira naman po yun ang nangyari. That's why we have this what we call the confidence level. Yan. So yung confidence level of an interval estimate is the probability that the interval estimate contains a parameter. So it describes what percentage of interval from many different samples contains our unknown population parameter. So in determining an interval estimate, there is this degree of confidence, which is expressed as percentage, such as 95%. Ayan. Interval contains the true and fixed parameter. So halimbawa, if we collect several random samples and calculate a confidence interval from each sample, this confidence interval are constructed wide enough so that 95% will contain our true population parameter and 5% will not. And that value of 95% of that or that probability of 95% is what we call our confidence level. So there are three commonly used confidence intervals. We have the 90%, 95%, and 99% confidence interval. So the confidence level has its corresponding coefficient, which is called confidence coefficient. So these coefficients are used to find the margin of error. The namang margin of error na to, it refers to the maximum likely difference between our observed sample mean and the true value of the population. Sa estimation natin, hindi natin sigurado na nandun yung true value of our population mean. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na margin of error natin. Ito yung pinagkaiba o yung difference ng ating population mean sa sample mean natin. And to get the length of the confidence interval, kunin lang po natin yung difference ng ating upper limit and the lower confidence limit Or pwede rin nating sabihin, this is the twice of our margin of error. So, mas maiintindihan nyo pa yung mga concepts na yan as we go on in our lesson. Proceed na tayo sa formula na gagamitin natin to get our interval estimates. Again, so yung lesson natin about confidence interval, we will focus on estimating yung population mean. Magpo-focus na lang tayo dito sa population mean since ito naman yung pinaka-usual na ginagamit sa mga researchers. Alright, so let's begin on how we estimate population mean when our population standard deviation is known or when our n is greater than or equal to 30. So when the variance or standard deviation is known or given, or when our sample size is large or greater than or equal to 30 by central limit theorem, this formula can be used as an interval estimate of a population mean at a certain degree of confidence. Ayan. So kung mapapansin nyo, ayan siya, yung ating population mean is between our sample mean plus ito and sample mean minus ito. And of course, ito pong symbol na to is our sample mean. And itong symbol naman na ito is our population standard deviation. And ito namang symbol na to is our sample size. And of course, ito naman pong ito is our confidence coefficient. Ayan. So, yan yung mahalagang kailangan din natin to compute for our interval. So, paano ba natin kukunin itong confidence coefficient nito? Gagamit po tayo nitong table na ito. Ayan. So, gagamitin natin itong table na ito. Actually, itong mga data na to ay nanggaling lang din naman po sa Z-table. Pero, since sa Z-table, lahat po ng area ay nandoon at hindi naman po lahat yun ay ginagamit in our confidence interval, ito na lang po, pinaikli na lang po natin sa table na ito. And ang usually na gagamitin na po natin ay yung 90%, 95%, 97%, 98%, and 99%. So, kapag yan po yung confidence level natin, ito po yung ating confidence coefficient. Ayan. Kapag 95%, 1.96. Kapag 97%, 2.17. Kapag 98%, 2.33. At kapag 98% is 2.50. So, let's go back to our formula. Yan po siya. So, itong part po na ito, yan, ay yung na ating tinatawag na lower confidence limit or boundary. Or ginagamit din natin na symbol as LL. At ito naman po, yan, ay ang ating tinatawag na upper confidence boundary or limit. Or ginagamit natin na symbol na UL. So, itong pong mina-minus at ina-add po natin dito sa sample mean ay yung ating tinatawag na margin of error. Sabi nga natin, ito yung maximum likely difference ng ating sample mean sa ating population mean. Ayan. So, yan po yung margin of error natin. So, yung length naman ng ating confidence interval is upper limit minus our lower limit or twice ng ating margin of error. So, yung margin of error natin, sinusulat din po siya as E. Ayan po. Ayan, take note po natin na gagamitin lang po natin yung formula na kanina present natin kapag given po yung population standard deviation at greater than or equal yung ating, equal to 30 ang ating. Take note lang natin na maliban sa take note lang natin na maliban na kapag given ang ating population standard deviation at greater than or equal to 30 ang ating sample size, pwede rin po natin gamitin yung formula na na-present ko kanina kung hindi po given ang standard deviation. As long as na greater than or equal to 30 ang ating sample size. So, gagamitin lang po natin yung sample standard deviation to replace our population standard deviation dun sa formula natin. Kapag naman po less than 30 ang ating sample size, pwede pa rin pong gamitin yung ating formula na yun. Given that our population is approximately normal and the population standard deviation is given. And so, paano naman po kapag hindi na given ang ating population standard deviation at less than to 30 yung ating sample size? So, iba naman po yung gagamitin natin formula. When n is less than 30 or small sample size, the central limit theorem cannot be applied. And thus, if population standard deviation is unknown for a small sample size, the sample standard deviation cannot take its place. Kaya yung interval estimate po natin dito, hindi na po siya gagamit ng Z-table. Ang gagamitin na po natin is the T-table or our T distribution. And ito po yung formula na gagamitin natin. Ayan. So, mapapansin nyo, ganun din naman po siya. Ang pinagkaiba lang, yung margin of error po natin ay iba na po yung way ng pagko-compute. Yung gagamitin na nating confidence coefficient ay manggagaling na po sa ating t-distribution or t-table. Ayan. So, again, itong symbol na to is our sample mean. Ito naman po is our sample standard deviation. And ito naman po is our sample size, n. And of course, this is the confidence coefficient. Using na po yung ating t-distribution. Yan. So, paano natin naman ngayon kukunin yung confidence coefficient using our t-table? So, to identify naman yung ating confidence coefficient in t-distribution or that t-value that leaves an area of alpha over 2, we're going to use still this t-table. So, let's recall kung paano nga ba ulit gamitin ito. So, para mahanap yung p-value, hanapin nyo lang yung area dito sa taas, then kunin nyo yung degree of freedom, then kunin nyo po yung intersection, then yun na po yung ating p-value. So, ngayon, again, ang hinahanap natin p-value dito is with the area alpha over 2. Yan. So, in statistics po kasi, itong alpha po na ito ay tinatawag po natin level of significance. Ito po yung 1 minus our confidence level. So, kung ang confidence level natin is 99% or 0.99, so ang ating alpha po or the level of significance is equal to 1. So, ipagmaminus na po yung alpha natin is 0.01 or 1%. Ganun lang siya. At sa ating t-table, ang alpha po na ito ay yung ating area sa right ng tail. So, yung area po dito sa taas, yan po yung ating alpha. Yan. So, of course, yung degree of freedom, ito po ay n minus 1. Kaya kung ang ating n ay 22, ibig sabihin, ang degree of freedom po natin is 21. At yung 21 po na yan po yung hahanapin natin dito sa ating t-table. But again, ang kailangan po natin sa confidence coefficient is alpha over 2. So, hahanapin pa po natin yung alpha over 2. Wherein ang alpha po natin is 0.01. So, divided by 2, we have now 0.005. So, ito po yung alpha over 2 na po. Nakahanapin na ngayon natin dito sa ating t-table. So, sa t-table, ang 0.05 natin ay ito. 0.005 pala. 0.005. At ang degree of freedom natin 21 ay ito. So, kukunin lang po natin yung intersection. Ayan na po siya. So, ang intersection niya po is 2.831. So, ito na po yung ating P alpha over or ang ating confidence coefficient in t-distribution. So, ganun lang siyang gamitin. Okay? Ayan. So, note po ulit, ang alpha po natin is 1 minus confidence level or the area on the right. Ayan. So, balik po tayo dun sa formula natin kanina. So, sa formula po natin, itong part po na ito ay ang ating, again, ang lower confidence boundary or lower limit. At itong part naman po na ito, ang ating upper confidence boundary or yung ating upper limit ng interval estimate. And again, ito pong minus at inad po natin sa sample mean is our margin of error or letter E. Yan. So, same lang din po to identify the length of the confidence interval. Kunin lang po natin yung twice ng ating margin of error, wherein ang margin of error po natin ay ito. So, again, T confidence coefficient po yung kailangan natin dyan. Or, we can also use this formula wherein we have to get the difference of our upper limit and the lower limit. Ayan. So, in general, ang ating formula to get for the interval estimate of a population mean is this. Ayan. So, ang ating population mean is between ng ating sample mean plus the margin of error and ng ating sample mean minus the margin of error. At ang pagkuha naman ng length ng ating confidence interval is twice ng ating margin of error or just the difference of our upper limit and the lower limit.
So, ayun nga, voice over na lang natin to. Hindi ko alam kung bakit wala akong boses dito. Ayan, so magkaroon tayo ng example so that we can better understand yung mga concepts na discuss natin kanina. Ayan. A random sample of 46 scores from the examination of UMS learners is taken. And it gives a sample mean of 78 and with the interval scores between 77.18 and 78.82, having a 90% level of confidence. Yan. So, ang una nating tanong, ano ang ating sample mean dito sa statement na to? Yan. So, kung makikita ninyo, given naman na po siya sa problem, ayan, ang sample mean daw po natin is 70. Ayan, isulat po natin, sample mean is equal to 78. Okay? So, ang susunod naman po natin na tanong, what is the upper limit and what is the lower limit? Ayan, given sa ating statement, ang interval scores daw natin is between 77.18 and 78.82. So, ibig sabihin, ang range of values natin is 77.18 to 78.82. Of course, yung mas maliit po, yun po ang ating lower limit. At syempre, yung mas malaki po is our upper limit. Ayan. So, ganun lang po siya i-identify. Ayan. So, ang next na tanong po, what is the margin of error in the given statement? Yan, kung mapapansin ninyo, wala pong specific na binanggit po dyan kung ano ang ating margin of error. Pero, alam po natin na ang upper limit po natin at ang lower limit natin is the sample mean plus the margin of error and minus the margin of error respectively. Using that formula, ang ating upper limit is 78.82. That will be equal our sample mean 78 plus the margin of error E. Ngayon, to get the margin of error, i-minus lang natin yung ating sample mean sa 78.82. Ayan po siya. So, that will be equal to a 0.82. Okay, so yan na po yung ating margin of error. Kung yung lower limit naman ng formula gusto mong gamitin, okay lang din po. Bali, ang mangyayari dyan, 78 minus 77.8. Ay, next question na pala. So, what is the confidence interval in the given statement? Kapag sinabi natin confidence interval, ito po yung range of values natin. At dito sa ating statement, binigay na po na ang range of values natin is 77.18 at 78.82. So, kung isusulat po natin ang confidence interval natin, that will be population mean less than 78.82 but greater than 77.18. Okay, yan na po yun. Okay, next naman. Ayan. So, what is the confidence level and how will you conclude? So, pag sinabi natin confidence level, ito yung percentage na kung saan confident po kayo na yung population mean natin ay nandun sa interval estimate natin. Ayan. So, dito sa ating problem, nabigay naman na po kung ano yung level of confidence natin. Yan, nakasulat na po dyan na ang ating level of confidence is 90% level of confidence. Paano naman natin i-conclude po yun? So, ibig sabihin po, we are 90% confident that the mean scores lies between 77.18 and 78.18. Okay? So, next na hinahanap po natin, what is the length of the confidence interval? So, sabi natin kanina, para makompute ang ang length ng confidence interval, kailangan lang po natin kunin yun twice ng ating margin of error. At syempre, ang margin of error po natin na kanina na nakompute po natin is 0.82. Ayan, so twice ilang po, substitute natin, 2 times 0.82. That would be equal to 1.64. Ayan. So, pwede rin naman po natin gamitin yung isang formula natin na ang length ng confidence interval natin ay difference lang po ng ating lower limit at ng upper limit. Ayan po siya. So, ipag-minus lang po. Ayan, lalabas din po dyan is 1.64. Hindi ko na matandaan kung ano pa mga pinagsasabi ko po dyan, pero sige, ikat na po natin siya. Balik na tayo dun sa boses ko kanina.
Magkakaroon po tayo ng part 2 nitong video na to, kung saan magkakaroon tayo ng mas maraming examples po doon on how we get the confidence interval estimate. Yan. So, syempre, a confidence interval estimate is also applies with other parameters. At ang example po nun ay yung ating population proportion, which is hindi na natin itatakal sa ating mga discussion. Magfo-focus na lang tayo dun sa population mean sa lahat. Though, itong population proportion ay matatakal po natin siya sa hypothesis testing. Pero dito sa interval estimate, population mean na lang po tayo magfo-focus. Okay? Pero ipapakita ko na rin po sa inyo kung ano po yung formula para makuha naman po yung interval estimate ng population proportion. The formula for computing a large sample confidence interval for population proportion is this. Na kung saan, itong symbol po na to is our population proportion. Itong symbol, itong notation po na to is our sample proportion. And this Q hat is 1 minus P hat. And this N, of course, is our sample size. At ito naman pong Z alpha over 2 is, again, our Z value that gives an area of alpha over 2 or our confidence coefficient. Hindi na po tayo magkakaroon ng discussion about this, pero pinakita ko na lang din sa inyo for future reference. Alright, so that's all for our video for today. And thank you again for watching and listening. Make sure to hit the notification bell to get updated with our next lesson.